jet skiing, paintball, Six Flags, water parks. Like, I want to do that. I love that. I want to enjoy life, and I want to do it as a Jew.
Do you ever struggle with your own faith? Thank you so much, Rabbi. Here, check out your drawing.
Oh, I love it. So, my name is Matti Fratkin. I grew up in a family of 9 children. I actually remember this one thing that happened, like it seems to be like a defining moment for me. We were in the parking lot of a grocery store, and I don't know how many of us there were, but a bunch of us kids. I remember a woman coming up to my mother in the parking lot and actually yelling at her and saying, "Are these all your kids?" And she's like, "How dare you, like, how do you have the responsibility? How can you take care of all these kids? Like, what right do you have?" And I remember, I was a little kid, I don't remember how old, but I was so shocked that someone would talk to my mother that way. And like, I wanted to like, get up there and tell her, "Do you have I have no idea who you are," but my mother is like the most capable person who I know. If she says she's doing something, she's going to do it better than anyone else. And in general, like, what gives you the right to judge another person? I just remember that as being one of my moments that stuck with me, like, don't judge.
Don't judge. So you're a rabbi. When you were a kid, did you know you wanted to be a rabbi?
When I was a kid, so my father's a rabbi, my mother's what's called a rebbitzin, that's the woman version, and I grew up in it, like, it was my life. So as a baby already, and I see that now with my own kids, that you're living the life. If being a rabbi is natural and not just a career choice, then yeah, I always knew that was the type of life I wanted to live. So just to explain, for a rabbi, you could have a job that you choose, that my job is going to be a rabbi, and then you get a salary as a rabbi, and you have a congregation, and you speak, and you lecture, and you counsel. But that's not the way I grew up seeing what a rabbi is. My father would always tell us it's not a 9-to-5 job. It's the kind of thing that if you choose to dedicate your life to your community, then you're going to be there for them no matter what. And if somebody needs help, that's you. And if, in general, the concept of creating community and bringing people together and making people feel at home and bringing a Jewish community in San Diego, so that was my life growing up. And yeah, I could say that I always knew that's what I wanted.
What's one thing that you think that most people wouldn't know about being a rabbi? Like, what's it like? Straight
up, the first thing I'd have to say is that a rabbi is a person.
Yeah.
I don't know that everybody realizes that rabbis are actually...
What do you mean?
They're people. I remember going one time to dry cleaners, and somebody was asked, the woman who was working there said to me something like, "Oh, are you rich? Because all Jews are rich, right?" And I said, actually, Jews are people, and some people have, some people don't, some people are this, some people are that. I said, Jews are people as well. We have emotions, we have differences, we're people. And the rabbi the same. I know that if as a rabbi, if I meet someone for the first time, often it would be the person might be like a little bit stand back, be a little bit unsure. What can I say? What can I do? Like, is the rabbi, there any way I can relate to that person? And the truth is, you start talking for a minute, 2 minutes, and you start realizing that a rabbi is a person. Hopefully, if it's a good rabbi, it's someone who, what we call in Yiddish, a mensch. I'll say it again, a mensch.
A mensch.
Mensch means that you're a good person, that deep down, you're an upstanding person, human being, that to you, being good comes before pretty much anything else, that you just want to be a good person, and you're a good person to others. So if you got a rabbi who understands that being a mensch is the main thing, you'll speak for a couple minutes and you'll see there's a lot to talk about. You can have shared life experiences. That's definitely the one thing that I don't know that people know about a rabbi. The rabbi is a person.
Because it's like, it's so visible. You know, it's so obvious that you're a rabbi just from the look and the way you talk and the way you carry yourself. Is it ever hard for you to sometimes like find an identity outside of that, because that is such a big pillar of your upbringing, even your ethnic identity and your community, your job, do you ever sometimes be like, okay, I'm a rabbi, but like, what else am I? Or is that something that you think about?
I know people who do. I definitely have friends and people who I know who have an issue with that they're a rabbi or they're trying to find themselves as well. But I can't say that for myself. I would say that that's, like I said, growing up, from being a little kid, this is what I saw around me. And what it does is it touches every one of your interactions. It touches the way I can be a father to my children. It touches the way I can be a husband to my wife. It touches the way I can be a teacher to my students. It touches the way I can be a good human being on the street, traveling, meeting other people. I love meeting people. Like the fact that for me, what a rabbi essentially is someone who's building community, someone who's just his life. Like, how lucky am I that my career is to make my world a better place and to help people with that. So that is I hope that's my identity, and that's what I want my identity to be.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever struggle with your own faith?
That's a great question, and that's,
If you're comfortable
I guess that would
sharing
be,
about it.
okay, I guess that would be something else that people would not know about a rabbi, I guess. Like I said, that a rabbi is a person.
Mm-hmm.
So coming back to that, and people are people. So I'm going to share with you a story. That's what rabbis do. This is one great rabbi. He's a teacher. He's very wealthy, and he doesn't have to worry about money at all because he's got a whole forest that they make a business out of with the lumber. So he has other people doing the work. He could just study and teach. One day the whole forest burns down and he's got nothing. But he doesn't know about this because he's sitting there teaching. His family goes over to one of his students and is like, can you break the news to the rabbi that he's got nothing now? So the student comes over and says, hey rabbi, tell me, if I'm having like a problem with faith, how should I deal with it? And the rabbi tells him, what do you mean? We believe in God. God's going to take care of everything. No problems. He says, Rabbi, but what if I lost everything and I was wealthy and I have nothing left? What would you tell me then? He says, did I not just tell you? We believe in God. Everything's fine. So the student says to the rabbi, that's what happened to you right now. Your forest burned down. You've got nothing. The rabbi faints. Mm-hmm. He wakes up. He's like, you know what? I don't think I understand it as well as I understood it before.
It's true.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that, of course, I'm a person, and of course it's so much easier for me to be there for someone else and to try to help someone else if they're going through a tough time. But when a tough time hits me, I just gotta dig deeper and remember, like, that I actually do believe in this, and this is actually what I signed up for, and I'm committed to this kind of life. So, do I struggle when it hits me? Sure. Mm-hmm. Did I make a commitment and I'm going to follow through on that commitment? Yeah. And yeah, it's not easy sometimes, and anyone who's going through tough times, I would never as a rabbi tell them, oh, you got to believe, you have to. No, every person has to deal with it in their own way. But I do believe that we have, with our faith, we do have a very beautiful way of dealing with it. Mm-hmm. Finding meaning in the suffering.
What's one thing you love about yourself?
About myself as me, or myself as a rabbi, as a career?
Well, rabbis are people, right?
Okay. I'll first of all say that I'm very fortunate that I was raised with the flavor, the brand of Judaism that I was, because there's so much love and warmth and just happiness, and like that's what the focus is on seeing the positive, seeing the good. So I am very thankful that is the flavor and the philosophy that I take within my Yiddishkeit, which is Judaism. That is something that to see everything in a positive way and to try to always smile and to be there So if I had to say about myself, again, being humble and all that,
Of course.
but I do think that that's something that was drilled into me and it was internalized, and I thank God that it comes a little bit easier to me, that I have that gift that I could see things in a positive way. And I can take that for myself, and it definitely helps my life, and hopefully I can share that and help people around me, because it's not easy. And the fact that for me I am able to see things like and smile and be okay and be maybe not jumping for joy, but just seeing things in a positive way and knowing it's going to be okay, that's a gift.
You are known for your positive attitude. You said like your flavor of Judaism. Are there some that you feel that are not as positive?
So Judaism is a religion, but it's also a life. Like I'm Jewish, so it's my life. It affects every aspect of my life. So it's my choice. Yeah, I'll fulfill all the commandments. I'll do all the traditions. I'll keep all the observances. But the question is, how am I going to do it? Am I going to do it with joy? Am I going to do it like living life? I want to enjoy life. Like, I want to go out there and I want to have a good time. I want to take my family and I want to go see the national parks. I want to go see, we went to Glacier, we went to Yosemite, we went to Sequoia, we went to Mount Rushmore.
Flex.
Yes, yes. Jet skiing, paintball, Six Flags, water parks. Like, I want to do that. I love that. I want to enjoy life, and I want to do it as a Jew. Like, I'm not going to throw away my kippah. It's part of who I am. I'm not going to take off the beard. The tzitzis, all these Jewish observances that I have, it comes with me wherever I go. My food, when I'm traveling, it's going to be kosher. And yet, I want to enjoy life as a Jew. So yeah, are there different flavors? For sure. It's a choice that a person has to make. One person might decide that religion is a burden, but they're going to do it. But you're going to see it in them. Another person might keep that religion has to be very, very strict. Unfortunately, with that comes judgment. I would like to be non-judgmental. I will be as religious as I can, and at the same time, I am not going to judge anyone else for the choices that they make.
Is that hard for you sometimes because you believe in you believe in it so deeply that it's hard to not apply that to other people?
I'm going to say no, that it's not hard, only because it's been with me every day of my life, and honestly, I grew up with it. Like, I'm thinking about the school that I grew up going to. When I went to my school, like as a student in my Jewish day school, so yes, it was a Jewish school, but who was my classmates, who were my friends? They were not all religious like me. My parents, my father was a rabbi. Other kids in my class, they were not religious at all, but we were all family. These were my best friends. I feel like I grew up that way, and I learned just through living that there's nothing to judge. Also, I can definitely say that I've seen some people who I respect very highly, who taught me a lot in life just by getting to know them, and it had nothing to do with their religious level. So no, I'm not judging.
That's a beautiful thing, Rabbi. I think that's something that a lot of people, even who don't have like a religious affiliation, could learn a lot from, because, like, for example, if someone's really, really into fitness and they wake up every morning and they work out, to do that, you have to really internalize that this is something that's important, right? That this is something that matters, and that's why I'm going to do it. But then when you see someone who's living the opposite of that, of course you don't want to judge, but you spent so long forcing yourself to internalize the message that this is what matters, that it's really hard to not apply that to other people. So I think that's does that make sense?
I guess that's, yes, and I guess that's part of also what makes it a little bit easier for me not to judge someone else, is because I'd very much appreciate if you don't judge me.
Yeah.
So having that in mind makes it a little easier. No, I don't want to judge anybody.
Thank you. I'm wrapping this drawing up here. I'm also a teacher, right?
Yes.
So what's one thing you love about that? Or what's one thing that you've learned from that, teaching children?
So I teach middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. In the Jewish culture, that would be called the bar bat mitzvah age, when they become an adult. And it's a question that they'll always have for me. Is like, why are you saying I'm becoming an adult at 13, or for girls at 12? Why are you saying I'm an adult if you're not treating me as an adult? And I think there's something really strong to the concept of Jewish adulthood beginning at that age. I mean, if you think about it, 13 doesn't become an adult, but it does become a new creature called a teenager. Like, it's just that horrifies some people, the teenager, like what's going to happen, really scary. And yet for us, it's like, wait a second, you're becoming a teenager, we understand that. What it means is that now you don't want someone else to tell you how to live your life, and you make your choices. So the fact that I get to teach kids at that age when they are actually making their choices for life later on, long term, and I can open myself up to be there if they have questions, to hopefully give some insight. But mainly, besides the insight, the thing that what I think I can give the most is just to give a confidence that you are worthwhile. And at that age, I would love for every kid that age to know that you are worthwhile, and the fact that you exist means that you have a purpose here on earth. And for someone to be so depressed about themselves that they feel that their life is not worth living, to me, that is the one thing that we can do. Like, as a teacher, if I can share with every kid I come in contact with that your life is worthwhile, you have a purpose, to me, that you turn that on and everything else is a bonus. It's awesome.
All right. Thank you so much, Rabbi. Here, check out your drawing.
Oh, I love it. Do I get to...
That's yours, yeah.
I get to keep it?
Yeah,
I get to keep this?
You get to keep it.
Thank you, Jacob.